everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is Carlos. Today we're going to be getting into bulking and increasing leg size. If you are stuck with uh, a certain leg size and just hasn't been able to grow over a long period of time, perhaps you should look into how to get them to grow. So, first of all, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment, post notifications, and all that good stuff. So, how do you get a body part to grow? How do you get your whole physique to get more muscular and bigger? Well, first of all, you have to eat more food. This is a truth that just cannot be avoided. You can do whatever exercises, whatever mass movements, try to gain as much strength as you can on, your bench press or squat or whatever. That's not going to give you size or strength if you're not eating. Now, by eating for bulk, it doesn't mean eating anything. Bodybuilders have to adhere to certain parameters in their food. They just don't go out and eat anything. It's not like, Mrs. Fields cookies all day, eat whatever at a restaurant, cheeseburgers, pizzas, a box of cereal. This is just not done. Why? Because you're going to get fat. The bulk has to be properly apportioned in macronutrients, which means your protein has to be at a certain level consistently every single day. Now, for a grown man, for a person trying to gain size, the general parameters are between 1 and 2 grams of protein per pound. So in my case, this just a flat 200 pounds, give or take. So that would mean I should be eating between 200 and 300 grams of protein a day. Now, there's no need to go over that for the reason that your body cannot synthesize more than a certain amount of protein at every meal, and so overkill on protein, all you're doing is wasting your money basically, because protein is expensive. It's an expensive source of energy. And you don't want to custom your body, you don't want to get your body used to using protein as a fuel source, because when the time comes, it'll eat your own, protein sources, your own muscle for energy. So you want to use carbohydrates and limit your fat. If you're eating proper amount of protein, but you don't control your dietary fat, what happens is, because you are in a surplus, you're trying to gain weight, your body will always tend to use your glycogen or your glucose as an energy source, and whatever fat you have in your diet will be stored for later energy. And where do you think that fat is stored? It's not stored as muscle, it's stored as fat. So this is why dietary fat is very much reduced in these bulking diets. And this is a secret that's lost on most people when they're trying to bulk. They'll go ahead and eat the whole egg, trying to gain weight, not understanding that with all the carbs they're eating, those yolks are going straight for the middle, bro. Now, it's different on an extreme diet when you're cutting down. You can use a little bit more fat if you're very low carb, because you do need some energy, and that fat will be used as energy. But this is not the case. So I try to keep my fats fairly low, like between 50, 60, 70 grams on a bulk. That's pretty minimalist, as a matter of fact. And the carbohydrates, I try to eat as much as I can, basically. Like rice, I'm eating 350 grams cooked rice every meal. So that would work out to, I eat 4 meals a day. Rarely do I eat 5. So 4, that would be 1,400 grams. And a third of that is, between 4 and 500 grams of carbs. Now, I have to add in other carb sources, such as my occasional piece of bread in the morning. I use tortilla, whole ground corn tortilla. It's not a tortilla, it's an arepa, what we call arepa here in South America. But it's basically a one carb source. Breads are refined, they have sugar. They not only have sugar, they have fats in them, and they are highly refined. So I try to stay away from those. But basically, let's say 500 grams of net carbohydrates a day. Now, that will guarantee weight gain. So most of that weight should be going to the muscle as long as you are in the gym overloading that muscle constantly. So on a bulk, I try to go more frequently. Like, 3 times a week is just not enough. I find that 5 is my sweet spot, hitting my legs twice a week. Now, on this bulk, the priority is the legs. This particular video has to do with legs. So, hitting the progressive overload. So that means that on every single session, we have an assortment or a variety of compound lifts that we are trying to either increase the weight or increase the reps. I am using the Smith squat, the hack squat, the 45-degree leg press, and the completely vertical leg press. So on every single session, twice a week, I choose one or two of those exercises. Sometimes I can't get both in, but most of the time I do two. Two of the major compound exercises, and I try to increase either the weight or the reps. And I have been successful so far. It's just the beginning of my bulk, so gains should be easier. Like on the 45-degree leg press, I'm up to 9 plates, and I don't see myself increasing, too much beyond that. I hope to hit 10, but from there it'll just be more reps and technique and time under tension and more work and increasing work capacity within those extreme weights. So on today's session, did the vertical leg press. This is an amazing machine. This is actually, I was reading on the comment section when I posted the short for the video for that leg press, that a couple of guys said, "Oh, kills your knees, worst exercise, worst machine ever invented." And I say, "Well, that's your opinion, and that's what happens to you." In my particular case, I had one of the best sessions of my life. I so felt a satisfaction and a gains from this particular session. The first time I tried the machine, I got up to 2.5 plates, and it was a challenge. And today I did 3.5 for pumps. It was like I felt great. Now, no pain on the knees. I mean, I feel it like on my adductors. I guess it's how you position yourself, or I don't know what particular machine these people were using, but this particular piece of equipment puts like no stress on my knees. This is why I love it so much, because like the free bar squat is killing my knees. I got to do something, to loosen up my hips and stuff to overcome that. But this vertical press, no stress on the knee whatsoever. I felt it all just on my thighs, on the quads, and the hams and the not the glute. It's more isolated than that, but it's just an incredible movement. So I worked up, from 1 plate, 2 plates, 2.5, and 3.5, and repped up, like the 20 reps, 15, 20, some time under tension, slow reps, fast reps. And when I got off the machine, it was, I had an incredible leg pump. It was just fantastic. I can't wait to go back and do it again and hit 4, 4.5, 5 plates, get up into the heavy stuff, because it's just an amazing thing for me. It's absolutely amazing. So that's what keeps my dream alive. I just enjoy doing the progressive overload. Of course, I feel great during the sessions. There is, no pain involved or anything. The other exercise that I try to incorporate rigorously is these primer moves, such as the walking lunge, long step walking lunge. And today, I did it with 25-pound and 30-pound dumbbells. And for some reason, even though, what is 30-pound dumbbells, these long stride lunges, man, I felt my quads like they were kind of in pain. I felt them separating. I felt them like being extremely challenged, similar to doing a 400-pound squat on the Smith machine. I am not lying. It's for some reason that long step squat lunge was really attacking my quads yesterday, giving it a stretch, I guess. And it was just very challenging. It was kind of painful, not on the knee, but on the quad. And this gym where I'm at has like 4 stories. And walking down the stairs, I felt a little twinge on my quad, like it was gonna tear. it was like, oh shit, man. It's like, okay. That was like a warning because I was going to do heavy Smith squats. So that's the reason I didn't do the other compound today. So I just focused on that vertical and finished off with the adductor. Now, the adductor machine is highly neglected in my opinion, but I've seen pros starting to use this machine more and more and more. Why? Because the adductor is a very important component of your leg. It comprises a lot of mass. And if you're into leg mass, you want to increase the size of your pants and the quad sweep and everything. The quad sweep is not, going to happen in isolation by itself with a skinny little inside, no muscle on the inside of your leg and this huge quad outside. That looks weird, first of all. You want full leg development. And also, the adductor is very instrumental in doing the deep squat, like full range, ass to grass. It just gives better overall development. So I have been using this machine consistently for the last few sessions, and we're up to the full stack now. It's, pin loaded. And so the only way to increase the overload on that obviously is doing more reps. But another technique that I use is to just squeeze as hard as possible and hold it at the top. And that's subjective. That's up to you how much you can apply force to that squeeze, So I've been doing that. And that was it for today. It was just those 3 exercises. Walking lunges, which kicked the shit out of my legs. And then went down and did the vertical press, which was just so enjoyable. Man, I really can't get over how good that leg press feels. But I can only do it once a week. It's at a gym that I only go on the weekends. It's a franchise and the other is closer to work. So it's like I switch back and forth. And that coupled with high calories, like, just gaining weight. Properly, like I explained just a minute ago, with your proper macros, not eating crap, not eating, off your diet, but just increasing more calories and, more carbohydrates and keeping your protein consistent. You don't need to go nuts on protein and, have 500 grams of protein. It's just such a waste. Unhealthy, first of all. You're not doing your body a favor by overloading, all these waste products from protein if you don't need them. Now, if you'd be synthesizing 500 grams of protein, you'd be like a 300-pound muscle mass monster in less than 6 months, right? You'd go from 200 to 300 pounds, basically, if you were synthesizing that much protein. But you're not. It's a limited amount. And, so you're best served by keeping that portion rational. And your wild card is the carbohydrates. You adjust them. If you feel like you're getting a little bit too fat, bring them down a little bit, and you will gain body fat by bulking, but it shouldn't be like so much that you're going to lose your abs and your form, and you still look like you're a strong, muscular guy if you're doing things properly, if you're gaining, properly. So that's what I have to say about the bulk. I will repeat it ad infinitum. Keep your macros in check. You have to count and weigh your food. And you have to know what the hell you're doing on a bulk just as much as if you're cutting for a prep. You can't eat like one day 3,000, next day 5,000. You go back to 4,200, and then you go back to 5,000. One day you didn't eat, and one day you went out to a restaurant, just picked out might be 6,000 calories, and it's just all over the place. That's not the way to bulk. That's the way to get fat. You will get fat, and sure you'll get strong. As long as you're eating a lot of food. Food equals like strength. If you're at the gym, the more food you eat, that's why strongmen eat so many calories. It's all about the food, man. You're eating a lot of food, you will get strong. But if you're eating the wrong proportions of the macros, you're going to get too fat. And once you get a little bit too fat, then you're going to be out of shape in the gym too. You'll be winded. You won't be able to perform high rep sets. You'll be lazy. Your hormone profile will start getting out of whack. You don't want any of that. I certainly don't. I'm very careful with that. I try to be, I'm as human as the next guy, and I'm susceptible to temptations also. But, I cook all my food. I rarely go out to eat. I don't order out to see what I cook. And so my cheats are very, very limited in options. My temptations are few and far between because I don't keep them in the house. And so, try to, if that's a problem for you, definitely, only keep good stuff in your pantry and in your refrigerator for sure. So, anyways, that's what I have to say about the food, the training, twice a week on the legs, man, just twice a week. Yesterday, I ran into one of these older bodybuilders, a professor there at the gym, a trainer. He's 72 years old, and he dyes his hair. He's got a full head of hair, and he dyes it black. The guy looks like he's 55. His legs are bigger than mine. He's like buffed out. He's got this X frame, looks huge, small waist with flared quads. And I said, "What the fuck, dude?" And he said, "I'm training 3 times a week legs." 3 times a week. And I said, I don't know if I can get away with that because I like to do the progressive overload. Now, if you're going to be increasing your loads every single session, either reps or weight, I don't see how you can do that 3 times a week. I can't recuperate. I'd be scared of injuring myself. So I'm keeping it at 2, and I think that's reasonable enough. So those were my thoughts on the training, on the bulk, and today's leg session. I'll leave the video at the end. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks for joining me. Love you all. See you next time.